Okay, so I gave you this question, 1.3, which says consider two goods, X and Y. Price of the product X increases from 100 to 120. So it means I can say maybe if I want old and new, this would be the old and this would be the new one. Or I can call it P1 and call the other one P2. As a result, the quantity demanded of product Y decreases from 1,000 to 800. So old and new, or I can say Q1 and Q2, right? But look at this. Firstly, before we go anyway, the price increased, the quantity decreased. They are in opposite direction. The price went up, quantity decreased. So it means, think about my beef and chicken. Beef became expensive. Quantity of chicken fell. You should already be able to say what these goods are, complements or substitutes. What would you say? Why is it positive? Price went up, quantity of the other one fell. Because there's two answers, we are now picking the other one. No, you're supposed to understand. Remember, think about it. Let's say, okay, it's coffee and tea. Okay, the price of coffee went up, so coffee is more expensive. What would you expect to happen to tea? You'd expect people to be buying tea. In this case, these two are moving in the same direction. They would be substitutes. But for our case, it's actually the opposite. When the price of product X increased, demand for Y decreased. It means X became expensive, but people stopped buying the other one. So it means the people are using them together. These two must be complements. So that's the first thing. Then the other thing that I see that we have done is like you have confused those formulas a bit. Remember what we said. We said percentage change in quantity over percentage change in price. This is how you calculate what? This is how we are going to calculate elasticity. So this method, if you do this, you are calculating point elasticity, right? You are calculating point elasticity. So there's two ways to do that. You can just come here, take the percentage change in quantity and take the percentage change in price. It will give you point elasticity. Another way of calculating point elasticity is to say change in Q over change in P times P over Q, right? But key thing to note is here, now on this formula number 2, which is the one that we are using, percentage is not there anymore. Percentage is not there anymore. If percentage is not there anymore, it means you cannot say new minus old over old, because that would be number 1 of calculating. You guys are now mixing the two calculations. So if you are using this one, it's fine. This one over here, it's okay for point elasticity. You just work out percentage change in quantity, percentage change in price. You get an answer, that's it. But because there is, in this case, they asked for the arc one, you have to say change in quantity over change in P. Instead of P over Q, you say P bar and Q bar. How do we calculate the change in quantity? We look at the quantity. It changed from, I can say it Q2 minus Q1, which is what? 800 minus 1,000 over 120 minus 100. Be careful that you separate the same way. In my case, I said Q2 minus Q1, so I need to say P2 minus P1. If you don't do that, you are going to lose the sign. You might end up having a positive or a negative when you're supposed to have something else. So I would say that is this part of it. I think you almost all of you got this part okay. But don't forget, it's supposed to be multiplied by P Q bar. And P bar, we say it is P1 plus P2 over 2 divided by Q1 plus Q2 over 2. Now you still need to substitute your 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and work it out. So you work for those 4 marks. You actually work for those 4 marks. And then at the end, you comment, are they substitutes or are they complements? Of in which case, so far, we said our answer should be a negative, giving us complements. But that has to do with the direction. Are they both going up or are they both going down? Or are they opposing directions? So while you're taking that, I'll scroll on and show you again. On the multiple choice, I still expect to find about 4 marks to 6 marks on still the elasticity. So you really need to make sure you understand it. Do I need to substitute here? I would say 800 minus 1,000, that would give me minus 200. 120 minus 100, it gives me 20. Multiplying P1. With addition, it doesn't really matter if you start with 2 and 1, you are adding. But it's fine. Normally you can even stick to the one thing and say P2 plus P1, Q2 and Q1 so that you do the same thing every side. What is my price? I had 100 plus 120 divided by 2 all over 1,000 plus 800 over 2. Now, if I want, I can go on and say 100 plus 120 is 220 divided by 2. I think it should give me 110. 1,000 plus 800, 18 divided by 2, 900. Then minus 200 over 20, it gives me minus 10. Now I need to sort out this part. But I already know my answer is going to be negative something. Is that okay? Okay. Okay, so I'll go on. I'll just quickly, I want to show you on the multiple choice. Okay, that's demand. Now look at this one. It's not exactly what we are talking about, but it says something. If price of good A goes up, and as a result, the demand for good B shifts to the left. From this, we can infer, are they normal, inferior, substitutes, or complements? If the price goes up and the demand of the other one shifts to the left. What kind of relationship is there? Positive or negative relationship? It's negative. So what are they? They're complements. Okay, that is one. I'm just showing you. So yes, there's the long ones that side, but you're still going to work with the same thing on the multiple choice. Let's see. Here they are talking about the minimum price. An important determinant of amount of grains harvested next year by Ethiopian farmers is the amount of seeds planted this year. Given that foreign nations have guaranteed to donate 500 tons of grain next year, this year the Ethiopian farmers will do what? Not directly on what we have covered, but it's supply and demand. So that section we are not really going to cover it like on its own. So you need to think about it. They were told that they are going to get a donation of 500 tons. What are the farmers going to do? Plant more seeds as food and plant more seeds as the food aid establishes a minimum price for grain. Plant more seeds as the farmers' confidence is restored. Plant the same amount of seeds as they would have without the food aid. Plant fewer seeds as the price of grain will be lower with the food aid. You'd go with number 4. It does make sense because remember, as a farmer, you want your price to be high. But when they get food aid, you need to know the diagram. You have supply and you have demand, right? This is the price. What does an increase in the quantity, like in the whole food thing, supply of food, what does it do? It's going to increase the supply. We get supply 1, price is going to be lower. That is just what they want to see. Do you know what is going to happen to price? That's not what I was looking for. I was actually looking only for the calculations, like this one. Price of a product from 30 to 35 causes quantity demanded to decrease from 16 to 14. Use arc elasticity. Tell us what is the price elasticity. They give you an equation, and you are supposed to calculate the arc elasticity of demand. 10%, 1%, demand is perfectly elastic, and so on and so on. So there is actually, in total, yeah, in total it's a lot. It contributes to more than 10%. of the paper? Just elasticity. And the understanding that you get from here, we carry it all the way.